So unless you've been living under a rock, The Force Awakens was released just before Christmas with positive reviews, and with each successful showing wowing audiences enough to shatter records, making it one of Disney's most successful films to date, with only Avatar left to hold it off. Now let me warn you, this is a spoiler review, so if you haven't seen it then I would suggest you do. Abrams and Disney did a great job on this iteration. I've actually seen The Force Awakens a couple of times, and I have to say I enjoyed it more a second time round, as I was still very much on the fence the first time I saw it. On my first viewing, I felt it was missing something that made the originals an instant hit, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then after watching it a second time, I suddenly realised there were a number of issues that didn't sit right with me. It doesn't mean I didn't enjoy the film. Like I said, Abrams, Kasdan and Ardent did a great job with the script, and the film very much carried the essence of what makes a great Star Wars film. But like most Star Wars fans, I thought I would air my views with particular character or plot development that didn't really stick and felt disjointed. I wanted to start with my biggest issue, and that was Kylo Ren. Now this isn't a reflection on Adam Driver's performance. Far from it. I thought he played the character with conviction, especially when he's confronted by Han Solo. More on that later. So what was it that had me believe the film struggled with the character plot of Kylo Ren's character? Well, it came down to a number of issues throughout the film. And let's be honest, Disney were very quick to show us Ren firing up his crossguard sabre in the first trailer, giving us an indication that this indeed was a very different kind of evil. Needless to say, we all wanted to find out more about this character. And in the opening scene on Jakku, when he literally stops a blaster shot mid-air, I was pumped and I had high hopes where Ren would go. As you watch it, we understand that Ren is not a Sith, but a member of the Knights of Ren led by Supreme Leader Snoke. But Snoke could be turning powerful, vulnerable Jedis to the dark side of the Force like a brethren of Inquisitors under the Knights of Ren, which if you have been watching Star Wars Rebels will make a lot of sense. So we have a scenario where Snoke and Ren have a similar relationship to what Anakin had with Palpatine, except we don't know the process that was involved. We know the Knights of Ren cut the Jedis down in a flashback that Rey had, and consequently Luke's failure in stopping the slaughter. But what made Ren interesting is his inner confliction about choices he's made in the past and what holds for the future. Talking to a burnt, disfigured Vader helmet for strength, solace and comfort, he uses his grandfather as a vent to lay out his frustration and channel his goals. Snoke informs Ren that Han Solo is helping the Resistance and it will be his biggest test. Despite Ren saying his father means nothing to him, we then find out that Ren is Han and Leia's son, sent to Luke for guidance and control of his Force abilities, and like his grandfather was corrupted in this case by Snoke. All sounds very familiar. I also liked a couple of scenes when Ren shows his disappointment by literally having an adolescent meltdown when things don't go quite his way. This gives the viewer the impression that Ren is not yet a fully formed character, unlike Darth Vader was in A New Hope. This shows vulnerability and almost an indecisive young man unable to channel his emotion for either good or evil. But the turning point for that comes when he confronts Rey after taking her back to the ship. Ren mentions to Rey about how she sees Han as a father figure, and he's very quick to tell her that he will do nothing but let her down, again giving the audience some understanding that their father-son relationship was rocky at best. Now the one thing I didn't like in this particular scene was the fact that Ren removed his helmet. Now it wasn't like I expected a similar parody to Vader, but him revealing himself that early on made me see weakness in what had been a strong start for his character. And if he was to remove his helmet for the first time, it should have been when Han confronts him on the bridge. Talking of Han, I thought the best part that described and if not showed how conflicted Ren was his confrontation with his father. When it looks like Han is getting through to his son, he tries to take the sabre from him, and he can see Ren, or Ben as we now know him, seriously fighting his inner confliction. But my belief of why he kills his father and thanks him in the process is what Rey commented about him never being as good as Vader, which resonates with Ren and was the catalyst that made him step over that line that not even Vader could do when he chose to sacrifice the Emperor and save Luke, which immediately made Ren more dangerous than Vader and the last test Snoke was waiting for before he would continue Ren's training. Now for me, this was the highlight of the movie. Ren has become the pinnacle of evil. He has chosen his path, killing his own father, disapproving Rey's comments, allowing himself to feel more powerful than his grandfather. Only then to be let down by the poorest of lightsaber battles. This last act was my biggest issue with The Force Awakens, because it felt not only rushed, but it made a mockery of Ren's character. At this particular point in the film, Ren is indeed injured by a blast shot from Chewbacca, so when we have the final confrontation between Ren and Rey, Rey suddenly uses the Force, which she realises she has, and starts to cut Ren down very easily. Too easily in my opinion. Let's not forget, Ren has been trained for a period of time by not only Luke Skywalker, but Snoke as well. And Rey, well, she never even held a lightsaber until that duel. I'm not doubting that Rey out the two is stronger with the Force, but to literally scar Ren and do the kind of damage made me think, come on now, Ren was trained by Luke Skywalker. Okay, he might be in a weaker state, but literally Rey only found out she had the Force skills about 20 minutes to the end of the film, and she pretty much comes away unscathed and besting him. And for me, that sort of let the whole build up of Kylo Ren, the badass villain, fall a bit flat, especially when he just speared his dad. Now, if it was more of an equal duel, I would understand that even if she did manage to take Anakin's lightsaber with the Force, I just thought it was a bit unbalanced. I mean, Christ, Luke Skywalker wasn't much of anything until he was taught by Yoda. So either Rey has got outstanding Jedi parents or her midichlorians must be off the chart. That is providing Abrams, Kasdan and Ardent aren't ignoring that fact. The other little issues that didn't sit right with me is the small screen time Captain Phasma had. In fact, if I was one of the contributing writers, I would have had Phasma save Ren from Rey rather than a convenient split in the ground. Purely as I see Phasma like an updated Boba Fett, where eventually Rey couldn't deflect any more of Phasma's blast of fire and retreated. That would have been an ending I could have lived with. Another factor was Leia looking a bit distraught after she senses Han's death, but then decidedly chirpy when R2 conveniently comes out of his robo-coma to finally give her the full map to Luke's location. Oh yeah, and then there's Luke, the saviour to the old Rebel Alliance, only to let 1 billion people die by Starkiller, not forgetting Han of course, and then doing sweet fuck all about the rise of the First Order. Then there's the consensus that The Force Awakens is just an updated version of A New Hope. Like I said at the beginning, The Force Awakens has all the essence of what makes a great Star Wars film, and despite its flaws will happily satisfy the majority at most. So what did you think of Kylo Ren and the Star Wars Force Awakens? Did Ren meet your expectations as the new villain? Was there other aspects of the film that you thought didn't quite work? As always, please comment below, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'm Grayson Steele, thanks for watching, until next time.